Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the 312 Blitz. It's been a hot minute, guys, but I'm back on the scene. It's Gordo. It is week 8. Things have been happening with our Chicago Bears. We are 4-2 going into tomorrow's game against the Baltimore Ravens. Things have been going down the last 24 hours, and more importantly, in the last 5 or 6 hours, we've seen some interesting changes on what is shaping up to be a very interesting matchup with the Ravens. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Glad to have you in with us today. Always remember to follow, like, subscribe on our socials right here on our YouTube page here. Last few weeks have been a little busy and been dealing with a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but great news is we are back. We're better than ever, and it's time to really grow this thing. We've got a really nice following on our X page right now, so hopefully we can get you on board. Please feel free to comment as well. Always like to hear from the fans out there, and just to have really good, healthy discussions. So let's jump right in. Let's get caught back up. So, wow, last week, you guys, holy crap, we finally had a run game that showed up. You want to talk about DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai finally becoming that dynamic duo, and for combining for over 200 yards rushing, and their yards per carry were right around that just over 6 yards a carry. I mean, just something impressive, which means that the offensive line is finally clicking. And one of the biggest reasons why is Theo Benedette is over there on the blind side. I know it hasn't been completely pretty, but the undrafted free agent from last year is figuring it out. He's putting it together, and they're opening up some really nice lanes in the run game here. And I really am looking forward to seeing the run game continue to become a staple in this offense moving forward, along with what we hope, will be a healthy passing game as well. But DeAndre Swift, you got to hand it to the guy. The last couple weeks, over 100 yards rushing, and wow, he is really becoming something special. He's finally, the wait is over. He is in. He is locked in. He's having fun, and like I said, the run game is just. It was just a beautiful sight. We haven't had this in quite some time. And then on the flip side, you guys, look at the run defense. After being gutted for weeks, by rushers. I mean, if you think all the way back to week 2 against the Lions and getting absolutely eviscerated by their backs, to see that we only held we held the Saints to 44 yards rushing on the ground for the entire freaking game. And the fact that they were putting together 4 sacks, they had 4 turnovers, 3 of them being interceptions, one that forced fumble there. The defense is finally starting to show up. And as I'm looking down the line here at all of these points that I have on this breakdown for y'all, look, this looks so much like a Lovie Smith, old school Chicago Bears type of script right here. Heavy on the run game, stopping the run, forcing turnovers. The defense is starting to really click. And unfortunately, it's going to take a bit of a hit going into tomorrow, but um, there's a game to still play, and I think that I think the defense will rise to the occasion. You're probably like, "What are you talking about?" Most of you are probably like, "Yeah, we know what you're talking about," but I mean, we got to talk about it. The injury report, guys. Kyler Gordon, who just got back, is now on IR. He's out with like a groin injury, and this is just looking like a terrible, terrible um, extension nightmare. Signing that extension in the off season, and now he's looking like he's just like completely glass. And everybody thought that was like Jaquan Brisker, and Brisker's out there balling out and having a really good season. And here's Kyler. Optics makes it look like he's getting the bag, and now he's sitting out. And that's frustrating because you've got him, you've got Tyrique Stevenson now out, and Tyrique has been playing like a number one since he took over for Jalen Johnson. So looking at that way, you've got your top 3 corners out. Um, And then Braxton Jones, which I think Braxton was going to end up being some sort of healthy scratch anyways. Cole Kmet, that's going to be a big one. But we know, I just was reading a little bit ago, Steven Carlson's being called up from the practice squad. So you got to imagine that he's going to be in there in the blocking, the run blocking situation there, along with Durham Smythe, and expect a healthy dose, we hope, of Colston Loveland. It's time for him to have a breakout game this week. We'll talk more about him in a moment. And then Roshan Johnson. What a bummer. He's out again. And out because, for injury reasons, but he's also been non-existent except for a little bit last week. He had a little bit going on, but nothing to really scratch the surface. But Travis Homer will be in there. You're going to be definitely seeing Monangai. You're going to be seeing DeAndre Swift. So I don't think that that's a huge loss. I think out of the ones that concern me the most are the cornerbacks. And right now, it looks like it's going to be Nick McLeod, Nishan Wright, and I think Trey Flowers was brought up as well. And I think Jalen Jones, I believe, is the other corner in that whole mix. No, Josh Blackwell, excuse me. Josh Blackwell, who had the blocked kick there a few weeks ago against Vegas. He'll be in there. And whenever Blackwell has played, he's always stepped up and has played well. And Wright has been playing pretty well for the most part. He's been burnt on some passes, but I mean it does come with the territory. But need a big game out of those guys, which is where we go next. How will the defense respond without this trio of corners? And then on top of that, without Austin Booker not being activated yet. He's got to be activated soon. So they're really taking their time there. But how will the defense respond without those corners? I think you do have some capable play out of those guys. I think Wright, I think Blackwell, and McLeod, when he's been okay. He just kind of strikes me as like more of a corner or a nickelback type of dude. Just by watching his play. But I think that you're gonna definitely see Kevin Byard. You're gonna see Brisker, Jonathan Owens. I think Dennis Allen is going to mix it up, and he's going to be able to play to the strengths and weaknesses of those guys. I think you're going to see some really good linebacker play. Tremaine Edmonds has been off to an amazing start this season, one that hasn't been since like his rookie year. He's super productive. He has become the leader right there in the middle. You've got TJ Edwards there who's starting to really turn it on. Looks like Hippolyte is going to be back. I don't know if Ayman Agbanbamiga is going to be back yet or not. But you got to imagine there's going to be some solid linebacking play there. Looks like Noah Sewell should be back as well. And then we did get some good pressure last week with Montez Sweat, Javon Dexter. You're going to get Grady Jarrett back this week. So hopefully, the rotation with him and Billings, Shamar Turner, whoever's playing on that opposite end, Dio Agdengbo, hopefully will have a game. So hopefully we're still getting some really good pressure there, and that maybe that pressure will take some of the pressure, you could say, off of those corners. And I think one thing that hasn't been said yet, Lamar Jackson is now out after he was a full participant or limited participant or whatever participant that the Ravens want to say from the other day. He's now ruled as out, and Tyler Huntley is in. So I think that that's going to be a bit of a setback. Huntley can still play. But he was elevated from the practice squad. I mean, he is taking the over ahead of Cooper Rush, which Cooper Rush is he only had some. I thought he only had some really good moments in Dallas. I don't think he's really been that noteworthy in Baltimore. But I think with seeing Huntley in there, being the cornerback, I think that does. Yeah, that does kind of ding the passing game a little bit there. So hopefully the Bears will be able to have a good handle on that. And then, if looking at it, Caleb, last week was probably since the very start of the season. This was probably one of his I wouldn't call it worst, but it was not his strongest of starts. So I would like to see Caleb being able to get back into it and find a good rhythm, getting some of these other targets, these other weapons involved, and obviously the run game hopefully will open up, as I always like to say, opens up play action, and you can catch these guys sleeping on the job here, and hopefully open up some really big chunk plays there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Caleb can do to rebound from last week, and moving forward. Would love to see him have a mistake-free game. I know that's very rare in the NFL, but it would be really nice to see him clean a lot of things up moving forward. So here are my keys to victory. I know you guys may have some other insight on this, and if you do, please put your own keys to victory down below. Comment below with your keys. But here are my five, because I'm always a top five kind of guy. Um, like I said, need the big game from Caleb. We need him to step up, need him to be the leader. We're taking some hits there on the defensive side. Put up points. Give your defense a lead. Take some pressure off of them, but go out there, do your job, get some points up there on the board, so that way your defense can go out and not feel like their backs are up against the wall. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The last couple weeks, the run game has been outstanding from these guys. Keep running the ball. Open up these holes and let these guys run through and eat. I mean, eat. I want to see a big game from Monangai, because I think he is going to turn in to the bruising back that we need. I love the way that he runs, and he's got a great motor about him. Kind of reminds me a lot, and some people may disagree. And if you do, put your comparisons down below, or tell me if you agree or not. But he reminds me a lot of like a mix between Jordan Howard and Matt Forte. We haven't had a really good back like that in a while. I think he's powerful, but he also, there's some finesse about him that I really really like. So yeah, run the freaking ball. And then, how can you not say this? Get your top offensive rookies out there working, and get them active in the game. You've got to get Colston Loveland out there. He, especially with Cole Kmet out, he is now the focal point with pass catching duties, which is why I think you see Stephen Carlson being called up and everything, to go with Durham Smythe. I think you're going to see a lot of that run blocking taking over for those couple of guys right there. So I want to see him get active. I'm hoping Loveland gets a touchdown. I'm feeling good about it, but also you got to keep in mind the Ravens are getting back former Bear Roquan Smith this week. He's been out with injury, and expect a solid game from him too coming back. But you got to get your other weapons involved. Luther Burton, you have got to unleash this beast. You know that he is ready to just tear the roof off, and it's time. We've got to get him involved along with all of our other weapons that we have. This one could also be number one for us. We got to stop Derrick Henry. We got to stop Derrick Henry. We got to stop their run game, because you know darn well they are going to be heavily running the ball, especially with Lamar Jackson out. So expect them to put a big emphasis on the run game, which means up in the trenches, these guys have got to be ready. They've got to stuff them. We need another solid game like we put together there against the Saints, only allowing those 44 yards last week. And then, obviously, the corners need to step up. If the Detroit Lions young secondary could step up with all of those guys that were out on Monday Night Football against the Buccaneers last week, the same thing can happen here. And normally, if it was a Flus coached defense, or even back in like the Nagy era, post Vic Fangio, when we would need our guys to step up if we had some key contributors out, we usually fell flat on our face. We were always screwed. And I think it is different here, from the sense that they are going to be coached up very well. And I think that they are going to be put in the position to succeed. The thing about the thing about this team that I really enjoy on both sides of the ball is that they are constantly making changes, adjustments, and they are trying to find a way to play to the strengths of their players and put them in positions to be successful. And I think that's going to happen here. I think that they may not blow the entire world away, but I think that they are going to be serviceable. I think that they will do a good job. Um, I think it all dependent on the other levels of the defense there, getting a really good solid pass rush, and then also having those linebackers there in coverage or in stopping the run. Everything has just got to be cohesive, and I think if you can get that from those front two parts of the line, I think the secondary, along with Byard and Brisker, Blackwell, and Elijah Hicks back there, I think that the corners will be okay. Let me know what you think down below. Um, I think going forward, especially, you know, and I don't have a slide for this. We don't need a slide, so we're just going to go ahead and cover that up for a moment. But I think we do need to, especially if there are issues in the game tomorrow and we see a longer term situation where we are struggling at the corner position. I think it needs to be addressed, possibly, definitely in trade. And I mean, the trade deadline is coming up here in over a week, and we need to start thinking about if we need to go out and get some help at the cornerback position. You look at some guys out there right now. Um, I would take a flyer on Asante Samuel Jr. The fact that he's still out there, I know a lot of people say it's because he had a very severe injury last season. He's still rehabbing from it, but the dude is still young. He's got, obviously the family lineage there with playing corner. I would give him a shot if he's in a good place health wise. I would go out there and snag him up. I would also call Stephon Gilmore and see, look, is your heart in it? Are you ready to go? This is what we can offer you for the remainder of the season. You're already going to be locked in. We think that you could be a plug and play. Are you ready to roll? Could see something like that. And there's probably some other corners out there that are on the market that could possibly be traded by the deadline. Um, but it might be something that we need to look at, especially with Kyler Gordon being out for a period of time. Um, and depending on the severity of Tyrique Stevenson, I think it's a week to week with him. And there's a chance that Jalen Johnson still may not come back this season. So addressing that should be the possibility here. I think it's even more important than addressing the edge position. Let me know what you guys think on that because I know there's a lot of names floating out there. I know today on my out on the 312 Blitz's X feed, we were talking a little bit about Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby as being potential trade targets and what it might cost, and especially what they would look like in Bears, Navy, and Orange. Let me know what you think. If there's another name out there trade wise that you'd like to see come to Chicago and help, especially if we do win tomorrow and moving forward, especially with what people are saying is a favorable schedule moving forward, um, we could look to bolster the team, especially for a potential playoff run, making the playoffs, whether it be as a wild card or maybe even something higher seeded than that. So let me know your thoughts below because, like I said, just over a week away from that trade deadline, and polls might be out there shopping. So let me know what you think. I can't get enough of this, over the last few weeks, especially being on this 4-game winning streak. You get to see this after every single game. And we touched on it after the Vegas game a little bit, excuse me, after the Dallas game a little bit. But Ben Johnson's good, better, best, never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. That speech, that motivation in the locker room is so it's such a breath of fresh air after what we dealt with near the end of Nagy's tenure. Obviously with the Floos, the Floos, and then even going back to John Fox and Mark Trestman, we've had some doozies. With a little bit of early Nagy sprinkled in there, and to see the culture that is being built finally in this locker room. There's been growing pains. There's been ups and downs. There's been questions about Ben Johnson, it being such an offensive guru, but yeah, what's going on with the offense? A lot of people don't realize this is not some plug and play Madden bullcrap here, guys. You're building something here. It didn't just magically happen in Detroit. It doesn't just magically happen with a lot of these really successful franchises. You have to build it from the ground up. And right now, those guys have poured the concrete on this foundation, and they are building it from the ground up. And the fact that every single week you look at those locker room videos and you see how genuine the players are playing for these coaches. Watching, Dennis Allen getting the game ball last week, especially since DA was let go by the Saints, and to see him have his revenge game, and to see that those guys played their tails off for him. And the fact that he said, I wasn't wanted there, but I'll tell you what, I'm wanted here, and I'm playing, or I've got a bunch of great guys playing for me, and I love these guys. I love this team. That is the ultimate buy-in when players see how genuinely happy and proud and seeing them, just seeing the emotion and the joy there. It's so awesome. It's so freaking awesome. And then, seeing weeks ago when finally we beat the Raiders to get, or excuse me, beat Dallas. I'm stuck on the Raiders, man. But to beat Dallas for that first win and to see the game ball go to Ben Johnson and just to see the players, mob him and just celebrate him. And you could just tell the respect level is there, and that is something that was lacking big time with Flus. And the fact that the transparency with Ben Johnson, whether we like to hear what he has to say or not, it's the God's honest truth. And that is what we need as fans. We don't need smoke blown up our asses. All we need to know is what's going on and what are we going to do moving forward. And I'll tell you what, every week he just continues to impress. And the fan base, everyone is rallying around him, rallying around this team, and I think that this team is trending in the right direction. I don't know how you couldn't see that. The chemistry, everything is just rock solid. So hopefully we get another good, better, best speech. I think we will, regardless of the outcome, because I think that's what this team's MO is all about. So, love seeing it. Hope to see more of it, and just continue to build on it. And hell, let's beat the Ravens. My prediction right now, especially after what has happened with Lamar Jackson going out, I'm thinking it's going to be I'm going to go 27-17 Bears. I think the defense will come through. I think Caleb is going to figure a lot of things out, and I think we're going to have a great game tomorrow, 1:00 in Baltimore. It's on CBS. Make sure you tune in. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Um, that's all I've got for you guys today. It's good to be back with y'all. It's good to see you. Uh, we're gonna hopefully have a victory Monday coming up here, and we'll talk about all the exciting things that are going to happen from the game, and then start getting ready for, I believe, Cincinnati is going to be coming up here. We got a pretty decent stretch in the schedule here coming up, so hopefully we can continue to build on this and keep moving forward and see where this season continues to take us, guys. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop your comments down below. Love to hear from you, especially now that I'm back and better than ever, and able to focus on bringing you some really fantastic Chicago Bears content. Have an opportunity to really connect with you guys more. So, thank you. Can't wait to see the Bears tomorrow. As always, bear down, and we'll see y'all next time.